Most superstars spend their entire careers chasing the perfect ending, but Luka Doncic already knows exactly how his story ends, and it's not where you'd expect. While the basketball world obsesses over his Lakers' dominance and championship pursuits, the Slovenian wizard dropped a bombshell that reveals everything about who he really is underneath the statistical greatness. In a candid Wall Street Journal interview, when asked about potentially retiring with Real Madrid, his response was immediate. "For sure, they raised me." Two simple sentences that unlock a completely different understanding of one of basketball's most complex minds. Here's what nobody talks about when they analyze Luka's game. Every step-back three, every impossible assist, every clutch moment that leaves NBA fans speechless, it all traces back to a skinny teenager in Spain who is rewriting basketball history before most people even knew his name. At just 19 years old, Doncic became the youngest EuroLeague MVP ever while leading Real Madrid to their 10th title and earning Final Four MVP honors. Think about that timeline for a second. While American prospects were still figuring out college systems, Luka was already dismantling grown men who'd been playing professionally for decades. But here's the deeper layer that makes his retirement comments so revealing. Real Madrid didn't just develop his basketball skills, they shaped his entire identity as a competitor. The pressure, the expectations, the weight of representing one of Europe's most prestigious sporting institutions, all of that happened during his most formative years. Most NBA fans see his European background as some interesting footnote. Luka sees it as his foundation. There's a massive difference between those two perspectives, and it explains everything about how he approaches the game today. What's fascinating about Luka's Madrid declaration is the timing. He's 26, entering what should be his absolute prime, fresh off securing his future with the Lakers through at least 2028. This isn't some desperate veteran clinging to past glory. This is a superstar at his peak, already planning his tribute to where it all began. That mindset separates legendary players from merely great ones. While most stars spend their careers accumulating accolades and chasing the next payday, Luka's already thinking about giving back to the organization that believed in him first. Consider what Real Madrid represented in his development. This wasn't some minor European club looking for publicity. This was basketball royalty, with championship expectations and no patience for potential over production. They handed significant responsibilities to a teenager because they recognized something special, not because they needed a marketing gimmick. The trust went both ways. Madrid gave Luka the platform to prove himself against elite competition. He responded by delivering their first EuroLeague championship in over a decade. That's the kind of mutual respect that creates lifelong bonds. Here's where most NBA analysis gets it completely wrong. They treat Luka's European success like some impressive warm-up act before his real career began. But the EuroLeague isn't some development league, it's the second-best basketball competition on the planet, with a style and intensity that actually prepared him better for NBA success than college basketball would have. Think about the mental toughness required to excel in that environment as a teenager. Every night, you're facing veterans with decades of experience, playing in hostile arenas where the crowd noise can be deafening, against coaches who've spent their entire careers perfecting tactical systems that would make most NBA teams look disorganized. That pressure cooker environment didn't just teach Luka how to play basketball, it taught him how to think the game at a level that gives him advantages over players who took easier developmental paths. The court vision, the tactical awareness, the ability to stay composed in chaotic situations, all of that got forged in Madrid's crucible. But there's another element that gets overlooked. European basketball culture emphasizes collective achievement over individual statistics. Success gets measured by team accomplishments, not personal accolades. That philosophy shaped Luka's entire approach to the game, and it explains why he's never satisfied with individual success if his teams aren't winning. When Luka says, "they raised me," he's not just acknowledging Madrid's role in his basketball development, he's revealing the emotional connection that will define the final chapter of his career. This isn't about chasing one last paycheck or finding an easy situation to pad statistics. This is about completing a circle that began when a 13-year-old kid left Slovenia to chase an impossible dream in Spain. The teenager who arrived at Madrid's academy with enormous potential but zero guarantees wants to return as a proven champion, bringing everything he learned in the NBA back to where his journey started. That perspective shifts how we should view his entire Lakers tenure. Yes, he wants to win championships in Los Angeles. Yes, he wants to cement his legacy among the NBA's all-time greats. But he's also conscious that every skill he develops, every lesson he learns, every piece of basketball wisdom he gains, all of that eventually gets shared with the organization that took the first real chance on his potential. Here's what makes Luka's retirement plan so psychologically fascinating. Most superstars approach their careers with a purely forward-looking mindset. What's the next contract, the next team, the next opportunity to maximize success? Luka's operating with something deeper, a sense of obligation to complete a story that began long before most people knew who he was.
That backward-looking loyalty creates a different kind of motivation. He's not just playing for current teammates or current fans. He's playing for the coaches who saw potential in a skinny teenager, for the organization that invested in his development when he was still an unproven prospect, for the culture that shaped his entire basketball identity. Think about how that mindset affects his daily approach. Every workout, every game, every improvement in his skill set. All of that eventually benefits Madrid, even while he's wearing a Lakers uniform. He's essentially borrowing NBA knowledge and experience with the intention of eventually sharing it with his basketball family. That's champion-level thinking that goes way beyond individual achievement. What Luka's retirement comments really reveal is his role as basketball's most important cultural ambassador. He's not just an NBA superstar who happened to develop in Europe. He's actively bridging two basketball worlds that historically haven't appreciated each other's strengths. American basketball culture tends to dismiss European achievements as somehow lesser than NCAA or NBA success. European basketball culture sometimes views NBA basketball as athletically impressive but tactically primitive. Luka's career trajectory demolishes both perspectives by proving that the highest level of basketball excellence requires elements from both traditions. His eventual return to Madrid won't just be some sentimental career conclusion. It'll be a statement about basketball being a global game, where the best players honor their complete developmental journey, not just the most profitable portion. Consider the message that sends to young European prospects. Success in the NBA doesn't require abandoning your basketball roots. It can actually enhance your ability to give back to the culture that created you. That perspective could fundamentally change how international players approach their career planning. The most telling aspect of Luka's retirement revelation is that he's thinking about it now, at 26, in the middle of what should be his most selfish career phase. Most superstars at his age are completely focused on maximizing their prime earning years and championship opportunities. Luka is already mentally preparing for the phase where giving back becomes more important than taking more. That maturity suggests something profound about his basketball identity. He understands that his career success is interconnected with Madrid's organizational health, that his individual achievements only have complete meaning if they eventually benefit the program that made them possible. This isn't some vague future possibility he's entertaining. When the interviewer asked about retiring with Madrid, his for sure response was immediate and definitive. He's already made this decision, even though the execution might be a decade away. That kind of long-term thinking reveals a player who views his career as part of a larger story, not just an individual journey toward personal greatness. Here's the angle that makes Luka's retirement plans genuinely revolutionary. Most NBA superstars define legacy through championship count, statistical achievements, or cultural impact within American basketball. Luka's creating a completely different template, one where legacy gets measured by honoring the complete journey, not just the most visible portion. His eventual Madrid return won't be some nostalgia tour or easy victory lap. He'll be returning as someone who conquered the world's best basketball league while maintaining his connection to the organization that first believed in his potential. That's a different level of loyalty and self-awareness than we typically see from global superstars. The impact extends beyond basketball. In an era where player movement is constant and organizational loyalty seems extinct, Luka is demonstrating that success doesn't require abandoning your foundational relationships. You can chase the highest levels of achievement while still honoring the people who helped create those opportunities. That philosophy could influence how future generations approach their career planning, not just in basketball, but in any field where talent development requires long-term institutional investment. Most retirement announcements feel like endings, a great player acknowledging that their time is up, that the pursuit of excellence is finally over. Luka's retirement vision feels like a beginning, the start of a new chapter where everything he learned at the highest level gets invested back into the organization that created him. When he says, "They raised me," he's not just acknowledging past debt, he's announcing future intention. The skills, knowledge, experience, and basketball wisdom he's gaining with the Lakers, all of that eventually returns to Madrid, creating a cycle of excellence that benefits both organizations. That perspective transforms how we should view his current NBA success. Every championship he wins with the Lakers enhances what he'll eventually bring back to Madrid. Every skill he develops, every leadership lesson he learns, every piece of basketball knowledge he accumulates, all of it becomes part of his eventual gift to the organization that shaped his foundational identity. This isn't just retirement planning. This is legacy architecture on a level that transcends individual achievement and creates something bigger than any single player's career statistics. The most remarkable part? He figured it out at 26, when most superstars are still focused purely on maximizing their own opportunities. That maturity and perspective might be his greatest talent of all.